Have you considered some of the best areas to actually come down here to Destin, some of the best condos to come to? Well, today we're gonna go through some of the different areas to consider when actually coming down here. There's actually around 20 to 30 condo complexes. We're going to go in and check out that, and I'm also back here by the shells as well. So we're gonna go down that trail. We're gonna take a look. Obviously, we've got the beautiful beach, white sand beach, the emerald color water. It's a particular emerald color today, but we're gonna talk about this area. We're gonna go check out that condo. So there's a lot coming at you. Let's talk a little bit about coming here. So I know a lot of you that are looking to invest in some condos, that you're trying to find the best areas to come to. What are some of the best ones? Because there's not too many that are down here. It's not like Condo City that you may find in South and Central Florida. It's a little bit harder to distinguish one from the next. Now, there's so much, guys. I gotta write these things down, but you gotta determine what area is gonna be best for you and your friends and family, because you know, that's where we come down to really enjoy this place, right? So some of the ones that I'm always looking at is like, what do you guys want to do? Because right now I'm right in the middle. Like, we got Henderson Beach, which is right back this way. And then over here is the Sterling Shores. We've got the back porch. You probably know this area. We've got the palms across the street. We're what I'm gonna call in Central Destin. And here in Central Destin, this is a good access because you got access to everything around here. Plus, it depends on the condo complex. Sometimes you may never ever leave unless you're going to this beautiful beach over here, right? So what things do you want to be close to? Here, we're gonna walk by the back porch. We've also got access to big kahunas down the street. You've got access to mini golf and all sorts of different items here for the family. You've got the go-karts, right? Those are super fun. So what is it that you're looking for? Is it shopping? Because if you're shopping, it should be down this way towards Crystal Beach. So what is this? I like this area specifically, and it's because you have access to everything. Even some of the things that you wouldn't normally see as a tourist, which you're not technically, because this is going to be your condo away from home, your home away from home, or maybe you're looking here to come here full time. You have access to the dog parks and things like that right here, and frisbee disc golf if you like that. The big thing here is the beach access. So we're gonna walk up here. We're gonna go to the Silver Shells Beach Trail head, which is up this way, and then where we actually have the beach. So I'm gonna show you that here in a sec. But you can see that back here that there are different access points to get to the beach. Now, normally these are going to be those ones that you're gonna have to have some sort of access to, which means that you need to have or be staying at one of these condos around here, so it's private access. However, there are those ones that you will not have to. So if you go to Henderson Beach, beautiful beach, one of the best ones out here. However, you do have to pay to go in each time. There are discounts for like military seniors, things like that, because it is a government park. But when you come to Destin, the big ones that you're going to be looking for here are going to be right over here, which we have this access, which we're going to go check out here in a moment. And then you've got a couple of other small ones throughout here. But the big one, Noriega Point, is now the newest beach, and now they're building this area out. There's a lot more parking. There's actually bathrooms out there now. So if you have an emergency, you don't have to jump off your boat in the Destin Harbor to go somewhere. So that's a really nice place to go out. And it's in Old Destin, which is West Destin. Even further down is Crystal Beach, or James Lee Beach if you look it up on the map. And that area there, you're gonna find the actual open access there. You're gonna find a good amount of parking. There'll be plenty of golf cart parking as well back this way. So that's definitely gonna be something. So let me turn this camera around just so you guys can see. There is some public parking that's over here. Mostly this is gonna be for the restaurants and the condos. But you've got your public bathrooms. As you can see here, this is the Silver Shells Beach access. But a lot of times too, you'll see that they have roped off a good portion of the beach for public access and for private for this condo. This one right here actually was just redone not too long ago, a couple of years ago at the time of this video, which was in 2025. And they've roped off a good portion of it. So let's just venture over here. Try not to get too many happy vacationers in my shot, but you can see everything else that we've got here. But you'll see down here, you can see the sign down there, which indicates what the public beach is and where that is, and then it ropes off for where the private beach begins. So you can see that Silver Shells has its own resort down there. But interestingly enough, guys, if you are coming down here, because of the laws down here in this county, you can actually, if you get to a public beach and get down to where the water comes up, like right where the water line is, you can walk the entire beach because nobody owns it. Now, if you get into Walton County, there is an entire lawsuit that was going around to see what's private, what's not. To my knowledge, it hasn't been settled as far as now. Just something to consider here. But let's just take one last look here. This is why we come out here, right? This is beautiful beach beaches and all your favorite friends to come hang out with you. So let's continue down here to the central Destin area. Some other things besides the beach access are going to be the amenities. Now we're going to check out the amenities over at Sterling Shores. We're going to go in there and check that out. But also, what are the amenities that you want? You want that more resort style, or you're just looking for minimal amenities to keep the HOA fee down, just looking for something where you'd never have to leave because everything is there. Now, there are a bunch of different ones and different condos that have this, so it will really depend. What I'm going to show you today here in a little bit, so make sure you're sticking around, guys. We're going to see a couple of different units that are in a resort style community with different types of condos. Just kind of show you, even if you aren't here at like this thing that's right there on the water, that you can still get something at a pretty decent price. So make sure you guys stick around. I'm going to go over all those numbers. I'm going to go over what your gross rents are and things like that. And guys, if you do need help looking into purchasing your home away from home, give us a call, shoot us a text. I've got plenty of info about this area and so much more. That being said, your amenities, rental history, as well as rental potential. Now there is a big difference between those two. It will really just depend upon who you talk to and what rental company that you might be using. Yeah, you can definitely see what somebody has used it for versus what it could potentially be, and make sure that we run those numbers in there, because that's going to make a big difference, right? Whether it's going to make money, break even, or at least offset the cost when you decide to invest down here. So that's a huge part. We're talking investments, right? Let's think about that. We want to make sure that we get the most amount of gross income in and lower expenses. One of those things being HOA fees, right? Some of the HOA fees here in Destin, Miramar Beach, are a lot, right? And you get quite a lot depending upon where you're at. However, some of the times it's just high to be high. I'm not looking at anything particular, but there may be luxury ones out here that just for the sake of being luxury, it's going to charge you an arm and a leg there. But it really will depend upon what's going to be included with that. Is it management? Is it the fees? What sort of things are you looking for? Now, I'll tell you this up front too. Hold on, let's get a good glimpse of this beach too. Gotta love this, you know, that's why you guys are watching. That's why I come out here to go shoot. I love this area. All right, so again, this is another public access beach. As you can see, it's Calhoun. So we have little ones like this all throughout the Destin area in between the condos. But yeah, we want to make sure that those HOA fees are as low as possible with the most amenities. And we want to make sure that the HOA is actually legit. Like, I've seen a lot of these condos out here and they're just not managed well, and they get hit with these huge assessments. Normally, if you're the owner and you don't get out before those assessments come in, you know, you're gonna have to eat it when you sell. Like, that's what's happening over here at Sterling Shores. There is a big assessment going on here in 2025. Most of the owners over here have accepted the fact that they're gonna have to pay that to sell those units. But you'll see, these units are really nice complex stair too. Also, when you go to a condo, one of the biggest things that people love about it is the low amount of maintenance, right? Like, I don't have to worry about mowing the lawn, you know, I don't have to worry about the upkeep for the building. If you've never owned a condo before, you only own half the walls, half the ceiling, and half the floor, right? The HOA takes care of everything else. The insurance for the building, because everybody's worried about Florida insurance, is taken care of in your HOA fee. That's why it's so high, right? A lot of it's, you know, paying maintenance and stuff like that, but that's a huge part of it. But in any case, that's what you get for that. So we want to make sure that everything is taken care of. Big part of being in the HOA or being in a condo and having that is the worry-free lifestyle, and making sure management there is hassle-free. I do want to say, I forgot what I was going to say, I just got lost in my own thoughts. When we say management, it's not management of the rental. That's something completely different. If you're curious of what that is for each complex, because some have some in there, please give me a call, shoot me a text. I'd be happy to give you all that information and more, because it is different throughout. But what I've seen over the years, it could be up to 25% management fee, but there are some that are different. And if you're going to Airbnb, it could be different as well. Also, when you're looking for these condos in the area, you want to find something too that has some pretty good appreciation in our market. You want to make sure that we have a good stable market here. So at least here in this area, we're in like this bubble where we don't see a whole lot of fluctuation in the market. Even with the big nosedive that the market took, you know, almost 20 years ago, it still was pretty stable here overall. Condos are a little bit more flex, have more flex with that, but generally speaking, you're pretty safe here on the Emerald Coast. Of course, we're looking for spacious, more updated, modern units, but again, it depends on what you're looking for. And I'm gonna pause here because I want to show you a little bit more. This is the back porch. This is where my family and we love to go here actually. I love sitting out here on the back porch and actually watching, because out here too, we were just looking at it, watching the sunset coming over here. I know sunset in Florida, but you can see it go the other way, right? It's beautiful. Some of the best memories that with me and my family, especially my wife and I, have been here. And great hush puppies too. All right, anyway, going back, you want to make sure you have good tax and financial benefits. When you do have this, these are more things that I can help you out with for information, but you can plan trips and write off trips when you come down to vacation if you came down to fix it a little bit. Those are just some of the little things that we could do. Again, we could talk more about that. And of course, you're gonna have your personal preferences here too, right? You want a Gulf view, the Gulf of America. We just call it the Gulf here. Do you want to be right there on the sand? Have your own personal access? Surprisingly enough, here over at Sterling Shores, they actually have their own private access to it, even though they're not directly on the water. And how cool is that? We're gonna show you that here in a minute. And of course, if you want to be next to the golf courses, there's beautiful golf courses all throughout this area that you definitely want to check out. I usually have to bring a tent every time I go because I'm always camping in the woods. Terrible golfer, but it's still pretty fun. And of course, if you don't want to be on the side, you want access to get your boat or bring one down, there's plenty of places to put one of those in. And there's plenty of places on the bay side, on the Destin Harbor, put a boat in and have a dock to have access to some world-class boating out here. Absolutely. This is beautiful too. You guys see that here? Love this place. Of course, the other thing to look at too, if you're looking at different forums, just be a little leery of what you look at when you go through those, because a lot of them, they're usually on there if they had the best experience of their life, or they want to complain about something because somebody upset them when they were down at the pool or something. But take a lot of those things with a big old grain of salt when you do see them as far as those reviews are concerned. But you do want to make sure that you do have a good community there. And last but not least, it's going to be the price and the type of purchase. So again, just looking back over here, when we look at something like this, over here at Sterling Shores, most of it, over 70% of this complex is rented out for short-term rental. What that means is that we can't use those government-backed loans like your FHA and VA type loans like it's normally conventional. Now, other ones that have a front desk that are condo-tels, right? Condo/hotels, you need special financing, which means you should have a person down here that has lent to this before so that it can have an actual amicable closing. Because if not, you run into all these different issues. So there can be a lot of financing nightmares when it comes to that. So if you don't have the cash to support it, maybe it'd be good to consider looking into some of the local lenders, which I totally say in Florida. I've done real estate in New York, I've done it in Ohio, and I can tell you this area is the most ridiculous when it comes to restrictions. So getting somebody that has lent to this specific area and to these specific condos before is going to be a huge help when it comes to that. I think we talked enough about this area. I want to go show you over here at Sterling Shores, get you engulfed, no pun intended, on what it's like to be in one of these units. So let's go check this out. As promised, here we are in Sterling Shores, guys. So we're going to go in here. We're going to check out some of the units. We've got two in particular that we're going to go check out, one of the smaller and one of the larger units, just to see the whole gambit here. We're going to actually go through, check out some of the amenities, head over there to the beach club so that you can see this, and we're going to go out and have a good time. All right, so let's walk a little bit further in here to kind of look at the different amenities here. As you can see, it's got that waterfall front there. Now it's nice too because it does have on-site management here, so if you do need something, it's nice, you can go down the desk and ask. Not all the condos do have this. This condo complex was actually built in 2021. It's got 160 residencies. That's 11 stories. So this is much different than what you're going to find on Okaloosa Island, where they can only go up to 6, and that's for another reason. But you have your 1 bedroom, your 2 bedroom, and most of the units out here are going to be your 3 bedroom, ranging from 850 square feet all the way up to about 23,000 square feet. So some of the amenities that we're going to go check out is that 4,300 square foot lagoon type pool. Now we may only be able to have to get a balcony shot of that because obviously people don't want to be on YouTube. So we'll try to get the best that we can for you for that. It does have that mushroom spray fountain for the kiddos, and we're going to go check that out. But it does have a 24-hour fitness center, that beach club I talked about. We've got grills, picnic area. It's super cool. I'm super excited to show you the back part of the area here, just to show you how nice and just manicured it is back there. And of course, getting that direct beach access. So let's go check it out. Look at the lighting. Love the lighting. Hey, we're gonna go check it out here. We're gonna head up to a couple condo units. We'll head outside. We'll go ahead and wrap this up for you. Stick around, guys. We got more great stuff coming for you because we're gonna be talking about what these units cost and what the HOA is and all the fun stuff to include, hey, what are we grossing here? Let's go check it out. Of course, now we are out here in the actual courtyard here at Sterling Shores, where we have the Nice cabana type pool that's out here too. Of course, we saw the one across the way that's twists and turns. Obviously, I can't go in here because, you know, people don't want to be on their video and go on YouTube. We'll see some shots from, of course, up there on the balcony so you guys can see this a little bit better. But I also want to show you around here just to see how well this is put together. There's plenty of separate spaces for you to walk around. Kids running, having a great time, but really, really nice. This is just the one side of it, but you can see that these do wrap around. All right, guys, I am super excited to show you this unit here, Unit 305 here at Sterling Shores. Inside here, we're gonna take a look at one of the 1-bedroom, 1-bath condo units here, which is super cool. So this one is around 851 square feet, especially here on the 3rd floor, obviously 305. And let's take a look a little bit around. So this was built in 2001, as I mentioned earlier in this video, but let's see what some of the updates have around here. So let's move this around here so that you guys can get a full view of this. Now you can see that it does have recessed lighting throughout the condo unit. This has been painted recently, and immediately here to the left is going to be the 1-bedroom that you have in here. Now we are going to check out another unit here that does have the bigger 3-bedroom, 3-bath, but just to get you an idea of how big these areas are. So you'll see that this is actually a king-size bed. It takes up a good amount of room. However, it does have plenty of room for your nightstands and TV and everything else that you need in here. So actually pretty good. The ceilings are pretty high in here as well, so it actually feels pretty open. You see as well in these closets, these are your standard size closets in here, but plenty of space really. Okay, let's continue venturing in here, going down the hallway. We are going to check out the balcony. It's going to be the last thing that we're going to take a look at so that we can see what the view is like, but you'll be amazed at the price. Again, guys, hang out towards the end of here. We're going to talk about the price of this unit and what it potentially brings in to see if this is your next purchase. Okay, and I will tell you as a little teaser as well that this is the cheapest unit here in 2025 at Sterling Shores. So if you want to get a little piece of paradise, this is going to be your best shot. Okay, so you'll see here that we do have a jet tub. It does have the custom cutout here throughout, and it does have a dual shower head here. You can see me in the mirror, but let's get me out of that. You can see that you do have large size mirror above the vanity. It is a single vanity. Of course, you could always change that out later, but a lot of this has been refurbished. The big thing here that I've noticed in most of these units is that we don't have a whole lot of carpet. And to be quite honest, you don't want it. You get carpet in here. I know that we were just on the beach earlier in this video. That white sand gets everywhere. Matter of fact, I'm sure the owner is gonna be a little upset with me because I'm wearing nice Chuck Taylors right now. See my red shoes. I'm sure that tracked in a whole bunch of white sand in here. I tried my best, but there's just no way. My car, I'm cleaning that thing out like twice a week, just dumping the sand from, I'm not even going to the beach sometimes, it's still getting in there, but it's pretty ridiculous. Anyway, you don't want carpet in these units because it gets gross pretty quick. Area rugs, sure. Okay, over here, sometimes we'll see it as an owner's closet, but this is where your water heater and your HVAC system are. These are things that will keep you nice and cool and have plenty of hot water for your showers. Now, here is where everything's at, okay? So this is a good size kitchen that we have in there. You can see that they did take the time to upgrade the countertops. This is a granite countertop. And look, we even have this like half moon type fixture that we have coming out here. This also will allow for a lot more people to sit up here, enjoy this counter space. You know, you got some takeout, whatever. This is pretty nice. We'll go back here in the kitchen here in a moment, but I just wanted to give you a sneak peek. And of course, we'll show you what's back there behind the cabinets. So let's move into the main living area. So I know we had 1 bedroom, but you can probably get another couch in here if you want to, because there is plenty of room, and you can turn this into another bed, 2 extra beds. You get the regular couch and love seat. You just added 2 more beds to here, so you can advertise more people to go in here. Now it's really interesting too, a lot of these different condo units in here, they may actually put, let me switch the camera around, they may actually build out in these walls. I've seen them like on Okaloosa Island and actually here in Destin as well, where they build out part of this and they put bunk beds in the side. So it doesn't have an extra bedroom per se, but there's more beds. They're obviously for the kids, but they build them right in the side of the wall. It's pretty cool. I'll have to do a video to show you guys that. All right, anyway, you can see that this is obviously the main part of the room, and sitting here out at the kitchen, interacting with everybody. This is actually a really big space for only 841 140 square feet. We'll go back and finish out the kitchen, but I told you we're gonna check out here onto the balcony, and I wasn't lying. Let's go. All right, so this is a decent sized balcony that we have here. All the units that you're gonna have here do have this. And even though you aren't right there on the beach, you can see the emerald colored water. You can see it right there on the other side of either side of the condo there. Just gorgeous. It's nice to be able to wake up, grab your coffee or tea or whatever in the morning, be out here sipping it. For me, it's dealing with my hangover because I went out and had a little too much fun last night, but really just soaking it in, getting ready to get out to the beach, getting the kiddos ready, the fun stuff that happens here. But obviously we're gonna check out a little bit more of this. Let's get a little better lighting here. Obviously we're gonna check some more out of this, go up to the 5th floor unit that we're gonna see with those bigger rooms. But let's go back inside. We'll go ahead and take a look at the kitchen and then head to that next unit. Alrighty, so just wanna give another big perspective of this unit. It's a bit smaller, but it's pretty intimate. You could still have your family come out here and still be able to really enjoy this space. You can probably fit 2 or 3 people comfortably back here. There's a ton of space. Like I was just at Edgewood and Miramar Beach the other day, and you barely had enough people to stand 2 by 2 behind the counter. This is actually really nice. We do have the old white appliances. Obviously that's an easy fix. And most everything here too, if you didn't know, actually has a dishwasher, which is pretty nice. You don't have to manually do that, but this is where I love this space because you're here in the kitchen. If you're like me and you love to talk to everybody, this is the place to be because you get to talk to everybody in the kitchen, you get to talk to everybody around the rooms, hanging out there at the little dining table. Looks like a kid's table. Thanksgiving, you guys ever had that? All right, so in this unit, even though it's so small, still does have its own laundry. You don't have to go somewhere else. It's going to have its own laundry, and you do have a small pantry area. All right, guys. And again, if you're curious of what this actually costs, we're gonna have that at the end of the video. If you have questions about this unit or anything else, please reach out to me. I've got tons of information specifically on this unit and anywhere else you want. But we're gonna go take a look at this next unit. Let's do it. All right, so super excited to show you this unit as well. We actually do have the 3-bedroom, 3-bath, different unit with the master in here. So let me spin this around just so you guys can see. We first have what I'm gonna call the bunk room here to the left, then bedroom number 2 down here, and we've got the master. But let's do a quick cursory glance of what's going on. The kitchen, love this kitchen. We're gonna come back to that. Of course, we're gonna go out to the balcony, and here's the cool part. Like, I love this. You've got access to the balcony out here. That's right. So you have access to 2 different places. You can wake up and get right out there. Don't even have to go through these French doors that are right here. Like, it's pretty sweet. Okay, so let's keep going. Let's go check out these other rooms. So first of all, we have the bunk room. You do have a window out into, well, the hallway, but this is nice. It does have a closet. It's about the same size as we saw in that first unit. And here's the kicker though. Oh, you see that? You know what that is? That's carpet. Ah! All right, that's just my opinion, but gross. All right, but still pretty nice sized room, and it actually doesn't look that gross. It actually looks pretty decent. Let's keep going in here. Here's bedroom number 2. Now this is a twin size bed. This is actually really nice furniture in here. If you guys didn't know, most of the time furniture is going to convey with each of the Florida condo units that you get. You can actually put real estate with private property, which are things, so it's kind of cool. Now you see that door right ahead of me there too? That actually is a door to go into the bathroom so that you don't have to come out to the hallway to go use the restroom. And we're gonna go check that out here too. I thought this is pretty cool for this unit. What a unique part of the space. They've actually created a coffee bar so that it doesn't actually take up room in the kitchen, which of course we're gonna show you here soon. Now this is cool too. Check this out. This is locked. This is actually, well, normally is your owner's closet, okay? If you have your own things, they've actually put this in here. I'm not sure why this is an owner's closet. I would have used something else, but this is where your hot water heater, HVAC unit are. Coming on in here, we have a massive laundry room. Remember what I was telling you before? They have this extra massive space that they can use in the condos. Like this is where they divvy them out, not in this closed off room where they can put beds, although they probably could, but this is where they are able to dig those out. This is pretty awesome, to have this amount of extra space and storage, pretty cool. And here's where you'd have more of the owner's closet. This does have a lock on it, but this is where all the linens and stuff and everything else are. Interesting thing about this unit too is it wasn't even rented out. This was just somebody's private second home, right? And then they decided that, hey, we're gonna rent it out while we're trying to sell. It doesn't look as run down, which is why those carpets look as good as they do. Okay, here's that door into the other room. And this is interesting too, because this is a glass and we have, something over the top of it to hide it for whatever reason. There's me, hey. Single vanity in there. You'll see that it does have the granite countertops like we show you in here all throughout the entire home. But we're gonna go back in the kitchen. I know you want to check this out. We're gonna go back there, but I want to show you the rest of the unit first. So nice little chandelier that we have up here too. Big open spaces. Now this is nice. They got the L-type couch here. This doesn't really count as a bed. Most of these two, you're gonna see a lot of people will want to have like the pull-out sofa in here. This one doesn't specifically have that, but you guys heard what I said with the other unit. And this of course wasn't for a rental unit. This was for personal use, so it makes sense, especially when you already have 3 bedrooms. But awesome balcony. Of course, we're gonna go check that out. Really nice decor. Whoever put this together, kudos to you. This looks awesome. Definitely beach type, relaxed, affluent furniture. It's got that distressed look to it, which has become pretty popular. Coffee till cocktails. Did you guys see this? I need this in my house. All right, let's go into the master. Now, if you didn't notice, these actually do have French doors. French doors in here. And then immediately here to the right, we have the master bath. Over here, we have a huge master suite. All right, although technically we're in the master suite, but don't judge me on that. Okay. So we're gonna come into here. This is actually a ton of room. Of course, you could probably put a divider up in here if you wanted to. It's got a big old tub in here with a separate shower. This is a jet tub. And then we do have a shower. Now this is actually a lot deeper than what I thought it was when I initially looked at it. The door seems super slim. I'm not super slim, so it was tiny. I wanted to show you that. But lots of room even with the single vanity. And it looks like they've done some updates. Okay, moving on in. Again, really nicely decorated. Again, you could tell that this was somebody that actually lived in this unit. It wasn't rented out. Still got the carpet. It's in good condition because they haven't had people tromping all over it. Really nice. This is a king size bed and regular king size, not your California king. We do have a walk-in closet. Tons of space. You could easily live in this unit. I'm that guy that likes his space. And of course you do have access out here. This is another door. We'll go through the living room, the main room door, but yes, you do have access out here. You could roll up out here and then just check out the ocean. Now, cool part about this, we were in unit 305. This is 302, okay? And if you have questions about any of the units in this complex or anything here in the area, especially that 1998, because those are expensive, definitely reach out to us. Give us a call, text, email. Hey, I got you. You get to talk to me, exclusively to me, and we'll make sure you're taken care of. Okay, shameless pitch over. Let's continue moving on. You know, I will come in here to the kitchen first. I said I was gonna go out to the balcony, but no, we're gonna do this first. And just again, this is just really well done. The colors, the schemes, it does have the stainless steel appliances. It does have the really nice granite. Yep, that's definitely granite countertop here. Still plenty of room for 2 people to move around. I wouldn't say any more of that, but they did make up with this extra space by putting in plenty of counter space. Now, whether you're staying here for this being your personal unit, or you're renting this out, or you're a guest in here, when you decide to come down, this is actually really, really nice to have the freedom of movement. And of course, like I said before, this area here, you can have a conversation with literally anybody here in the main area of this condo, even yell at somebody in the master. Whatever's going on depends on how you guys like to hang out. Like, it's a pretty good time. I always love this because this is where the memories are. This is where the memories are made. It's sitting right here, having conversations with your family, friends, laughing, having a good time. Like, I can see that happening. Every time I'm in here, and especially for you that are looking for that, making it the Florida condo or the Destin condo or the place that you go out down for generations and people make life memories, like this is where it's at. This is the part that really hits home for me and a lot of people. Okay, so we told you we were gonna get out here to the balcony and I didn't lie, we're going. That's kind of funny. These are those bloopers that happen. I couldn't open that, so we're gonna try the other door. Let's see if I can open this one. Let's see if we get it. Oh, here we are into the balcony here. Really nice. Like this is, you're gonna see a vast difference between that other condo unit versus this one here. Twice the length. And you're right here on the edge too. You get a great look at the back door, restaurant. You actually get a better view, if you ask me, of the ocean over here. And it's a quicker access down here. You're just a little bit more secluded. Hear the birds chirping. You're not necessarily hearing the pool. Like, this is pretty nice. So again, these are those areas to go hang out. There's also great access. The further you go up, you're gonna get a better view of the ocean. This is just here on the 3rd floor. Even with the condos, and you got the townhomes that are over here as well, this is still a great time. Again, memories to be made here. So I think that's wrapping this condo up. Let's go ahead and check out the rest of the units. All right, guys, we are here on the 2nd floor checking out the fitness center. Surprisingly enough, it's not so bad in here. I'm a big fitness buff myself, and I was a little surprised to see as much equipment in here as we actually see. So surprisingly enough, an incline bench, which looks like it can adjust to. You actually do have some pulleys, not much, but still nice back workout. Of course, as you normally would see in here, we have weights. Now this does go up to 50 pounds, you know, for light curls, I guess. Kidding. And there is a leg machine. Now this is actually pretty interesting for those people that do work out, because it actually is a leg extension and leg curls machine all in one. So it's pretty cool to actually see this in here. Now, of course, if you don't want to walk on the beach, you do have treadmills in here. It is cool, it is air conditioned, which is nice. Got a couple of ellipticals and some sit down bikes. Not a ton of room in here to do really anything else but what you're seeing here, but there is a little bit room by the door. We got 2 benches with your weights, so really not too bad. Just wanna get our pump on. Why not? All right, so we are here in the private beach club that we have across the street from the actual complex at Sterling Shores. I'm up here on one of the elevated viewing points out here, but this all back here, remember we had those roped off beaches that we had at the beginning of the video? This is all the private beach that you have for Sterling Shores. Now, pretty incredible, right? Because you get the lower prices, although I haven't talked about those yet. Condo that is off the beach, but still have this beach club access. Just a small walk away, plus access to one of my favorite restaurants here in Destin. Now, just to flip around here, I just want to showcase this. I know we've seen the other pool, we're about to see it again, but here's the beachside pool. And it's what you would expect out here with a cabana style feel to it. It does have its own private gate there, bathrooms. Now sometimes we do have the shops going in here. It's a little bit off season, so we're not seeing that. And it just kind of wraps around here. And just, of course, we got to get these beach views in. It's just never enough, is it? All right, so that's all that we do have here for the condo over here at Sterling Shores, and as well for the best areas to go ahead and purchase a condo. Again, we're talking about the things that really matter to you, your family, your friends, and the sort of vacation experience that you really want. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get in here to Sterling Shores for its main pool, but trust me, it's really nice. The kids love it. It's absolutely great. Still out here, we're about to walk back around. But it really, again, to go back to what I was saying, it really depends on what you're looking for, what sort of experience that you want, the amenities, where you want to be close to. Here in Sterling Shores is one of my personal favorites, mainly because of its proximity to everything. The prices, again, I'm gonna talk about that. I told you I would, I'm not lying to you. The prices for the units in comparison to what's across the street and the rest of Destin and the HOAs make it a slam dunk. And we're on the approach end of the runway. Don't let that deter you. Everything is here in Destin and Fort Walton, especially with the military bases out here. But in any case, yes, if you have questions, you need help with those, reach out to me and my team. We've got you, all right? So let's talk about the different prices. That very first one, unit 305, is currently listed at $475,000, which is, that's it for everything we just showed here? Yes, absolutely. It's the best priced one here at Sterling Shores. It's one of the best priced units you're gonna find this close to the water. Additionally, right down the way in 302, that's listed at $775,000 for that 3-bedroom, 2-bath that was there with that really deep laundry room that was in there. So lots of different options in there. They range all the way up. We couldn't get into the other one. I think it was a last-minute guest that got in there, but there was a nice penthouse unit that was up there, and that one was just cresting 1.1 mil. Yeah, unfortunately we couldn't get into that one, but if you want a private tour, please do hit me up. We'd love to help you out with that. And if you're curious for that 775, what are the gross rents for that? Well, the gross rents for the 775 was about $60,000 to $70,000 per year, right? Nice little offset there. For the unit 305, you're looking around $30,000 to $40,000. So obviously you're gonna get more, you pay more. Obviously it's almost twice the price, right? Not quite, I know, I get it. But those are what you're gonna be looking at. And as far as HOAs for something like this, isn't terribly bad. It's around $1,280 per month, upwards of 13, 15 per month. And that's for everything that we talked about here. See, I had to double check. There's just so much information about these. Okay, so I've got more and more condo videos, more area videos, whether you're an investor, you're thinking about moving here, you want pros and cons of all the different places from Santa Rosa Beach all the way out to Gulf Breeze, up to Crestview, or any of these cool beach towns here. Please do check it out. I got more videos here below, so go ahead and check them out and give us a call if we could help you. Again, my name's Tim Whittemore and I'm with LPT Realty. And we'll see you in more videos. Come join me. This is awesome.